Okay, so continuing where we left off, I've just added it to my calendar. And then the bot here, I'm using a text generator block here, which says give respectful encouragement and suggest to the user that they invite others to take part if appropriate. Make the tone supportive and kind, and don't use any exclamation points. Include an appropriate emoji. So that's what I'm getting here. But I'm using a little trick here, which is to generate text in a text generator AI block, and then save that automatically. Just this happens automatically, and then refer back to it in a button block here. So I just do add ref underscore generate response, which is the name of this block. And then I'm getting the text that I generated here in combination with these two buttons, which is what I want. So importantly, I toggled off the reply with generated text here. So what I'm getting is the combination of these two, exactly how I want it. And I'll say, no, I'll just go for my bike ride by myself. I then get the response to that. And then I'll just say continue. And then we get into this implementation primer here. So the idea is that if you identify things that might get in the way and identify strategies of overcoming that, that's what's called like mental contrasting with implementation barriers. And this has been shown to be really helpful for increasing the likelihood that you do the thing, which is really helpful in this case. That's what we want. So here we get exactly the text here, which is nice. You're doing your future self a favor today. Evidence shows that it's helpful to think through the possible barriers to carrying out your plans. So I'll click continue. Now I'm using, that was a button block. Now I'm using a question block again. And it says, let's try it. Imagine that it's 10 minutes before you plan to start. What would be the most likely reason for not wanting to try going for a mountain bike ride? I'll say, well, I might feel lazy. And so here we get to another AI block, which is a generate text, where I'm again saving the text and not replying with it right away, but using it in a question block afterwards. So the instructions for GPT here are to write a short message to the user consisting of two parts. First, validate the challenge or the barriers that the user has just described in their last response, and ask them to imagine possible benefits of carrying out the activity nonetheless. After that, kindly and openly ask the user what steps they can take to ensure that they carry out the plan in order to enjoy themselves despite the barrier or challenge. So let's see what that looks like. That was the instruction for GPT. What it comes up with is, I understand that feeling lazy can be a challenge. Imagine the sense of freedom and energy you could feel after going for a mountain bike ride. That sounds pretty good. What steps can you take to ensure you carry out the plan and enjoy yourself despite feeling lazy? So this is like the mental contrasting, right? What can I plan to do if this happens, if I feel lazy? I can tell my friends, Arthur, that I'm going for the bike ride and that I'll send him a picture. I think bike ride is in 2 words. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Spelling mistakes are fine. So that was again here. I generated the text. I then posed it as a question here. And then we get to a classify block. This is kind of an interesting one. So it takes the text that the user just shared, and the instruction for GPT here is to classify. So it says, the instruction is the user's response an answer to the question, what steps can you take to make it more likely that you'll do a certain activity? This was what they wrote. And this block, this classify block, will then classify my answer as the user into no, it's not an answer, or yes, it is an answer. And if yes, we get to this encouragement text generation AI block. So here, it's going to use positive emojis throughout, validate the work, tell them that they're almost at the end of the exercise, write a short summary of the following, prefaced by the statement, here's what you told me today. High energy level, that's what I'm getting here. Chose an activity to do for fun. Going for a bike ride. When are you going to do it? Sunday. Possible barriers. Laziness. How am I going to overcome these barriers? Telling Arthur and sending a picture. And then there's nice encouragement like, oh, you're almost done. So also here in GPT, I said keep the response short. Use emojis and spaces between the different sections so it's a little nicer to read. So I'll continue. We then have exactly the same trick as before, actually. So I'm generating the text in an AI block. I'm now not replying with it right away. So this is toggled off.